Market conditions remaining bullish in a bull market. Let's take a look at some of the data here. We've got the bullish rank at 2391, continuing just to make new highs on this trend momentum indicator as the 1-year time frame. And you can see that when we start off, it's cut off right here, but we start off at that zero line. That zero line is equating to this arrow that's right here, and so we've been just continually climbing within this time frame right here, and we're at the upper end of that range. Let's take a look at momentum. Momentum has had a really nice spike. In fact, I'm going to come back to this chart here in just a minute. We're seeing momentum towards the upper end of that range. That's pretty wide actually for this chart. I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of a pause right here. We could certainly see one more move higher, and then, or at least a kind of an exuberant type of blow off top, gaining some momentum here in a group of names. The breadth is the really holding things back right here. We're seeing small cap really not continuing that overall advance like the large cap tech names. And we're seeing sentiment, which is still good right here. So we've got sentiment towards the upper end of that range that can maintain that area during nice bull trends, and typically does. Breadth would like to see that improving right here, and momentum doing well, but towards the upper end of that extreme range. Now, coming back to this chart, typically when we see momentum, this is one of the areas we want to start watching, because we get momentum spiking back up to sentiment or higher than sentiment, and typically we'd see breadth a little bit better. But this range right here, when we start to see this setup where we see red, if red bumps up above the blue, it's pretty close to that. But even this setting right here is there's certainly some area for caution in the market. We already know that. Buy-sell ratio does give us that confirmation, which is an interesting chart, because we have this wide reading right here towards a bullish side. We've been sliding to the downside, but the markets have been going higher. So we're getting some divergence here, and we know why. We know that it's a strong group of stocks. If we go over to the indexes and we take a look at this index scan and we look at these names right here, you've got 35 stocks in the NASDAQ 100, and these are your who's who of the stock market right now. NVIDIA, Broadcom, Micron, Lam Research, Qualcomm, Costco, Netflix, even Ross Stores is in there. Microsoft and Apple are in there. Just a really fantastic group of names that are in that uptrend of some of these major sectors: NASDAQ 100, S&P 500. Those are the core stocks that are moving the market currently. We also are focused on the bond market. We're seeing strength in the bond market still, which we want to see. We want to see the bond market anticipating rate cuts, which is what they're doing when we see bond prices going higher. That's an anticipation of interest rates coming back down again. So getting some bullish momentum here on bonds. And also, that's the long-term bonds, short-term bonds, SHY, also showing some strength right here. S&P 500 chart pattern, really nice after this breakout gap, continuing that overall move. This is just our current issue and momentum right now, as we're at the upper end of that range. Doesn't mean it's going to reverse entirely, but it does mean that it typically will pull back into that buy zone, maybe with some consolidation, something like these price patterns here. And we've seen it fairly orderly. We get a big up day, and then we get 2 or 3 or 4 sideways days, and an up day, and then some consolidation as well. So nothing real exciting to the upside or downside, but just continuing to chug towards that uptrend. Let's take a look at the sectors. We saw a little bit of improvement here in sectors with the buy. We've got 2 in that upper range. Yesterday we had quite a few more in that hold range, or in the sell range, and it was, I think 2 or 3 have bumped back into that hold. So a little bit of strength showing here on sectors, but you can see also that's matching the breadth, or really the participation in this overall uptrend is only a handful of sectors. We're seeing commodities, we're seeing oil strengthen here. That's 2 days into that uptrend, breaking out of that 77 range and headed towards 79 on oil. Also, silver and gold, silver holding that support range right at that 26 high, and also gold is stabilizing right here, not quite, needs to bump back up above that 216 level to continue that overall uptrend, but it's holding support as of right now. Muscle stocks group markets are closed today, so these aren't going to change today, but we've got a nice set of stocks, leading stocks. Vital Farms finally had a pullback and some consolidation. Not a nice looking confirmation bar, but working its way back up in that direction. A nice looking stock on Orion Group, which is a construction stock, consolidation phase right here, and increased volume during this uptrend. But you can see that tug of war now, that consolidation. That's really what we want to see. We want to see a big run up, and then we want to see indecision, consolidation. Ideally, we see buying at these lows and then looking for a little bit better confirmation bar that we, pretty light on light volume, not an ideal confirmation bar to the upside, but nonetheless, it has moved back into that upper range. A nice group of stocks. Spend some time today and go through that list. And that'll do it for today's update. Everyone have a fantastic day today.